Hey there, everybody. King Buzzy Boy again, and I'm going to do a quick thing here. It was something I was going to get to the when I was at the end of my one of my videos on faith. I was going to kind of leak into this, and I decided to do another video on it because I didn't want the video to be too long and off topic. So this kind of relates to the idea of faith, and if take a look at my video on faith if you have a question about that. But this goes to the point of, can an atheist wake up in the morning and logically be able to just rely on themselves every day instead of a higher power? Okay, and obviously that does, there's an idea of faith in here, but the thing that strikes me about this, because they say, theists are weak because we have to rely on God. It's a crutch when you can just rely on yourself. Now, I have gone through life, most of my life, relying on myself, so I understand the concept. But quite frankly, when you start taking that to its logical conclusion, which I did, then you're feeling like you're just an animal, and as an animal, you are designed to survive. Survival is priority number one. So when you wake up and survival is priority number one, you start making some very interesting decisions about what you're going to do that day. And if there is no God and we are just animals, then priority number one is survival. There is no priority number one other than that. And so if you're not waking up in the morning and you're not consciously making decisions that are going to help improve your chance of survival, then I'm not going to call you a hypocrite, but I'm just saying that there's a little bit of hypocrisy in that, because you are it. You are numero uno, and your survival is left up to you. So now, that would lead you also to just being anxious. That's one of the fruits of atheism and evolution, is that if we are it and we need to survive, well, that's going to lead you to some very what's the word I'm looking for here? I just about had it there a second ago. Uneasy. It should give you a general sense of uneasiness every day, okay? Because there's always someone out there who can kill you, essentially. And when you look at animals in the wild, they don't generally live very relaxing lives. They're always on edge, always, as they should be, because there's someone who's coming after them, possibly taking what they got. So. This idea that we can wake up and atheism is so great because we can just rely on ourselves. We don't have to worry about this invisible God that we can't see, touch, feel or hear. I understand that logic, but, how are you going to live a life of any peace if you're it? Now, as a former veteran in the military, there's an old saying, there's no atheists in foxholes. Because no matter who you are and where you are, okay, and this, when you get down, there's gonna come a time where you are possibly gonna come to the end of yourself. You're gonna come to a place, and this is why there's no atheists in foxholes, where there's nothing that you can do for your survival at that point. Okay, you are fixing to die. Now, you might be in an alley with a mugger fixing to rape and kill you. You might be in a foxhole in war. You might be on your bed having a heart attack. But in most people's lives, there often does come a time where you just come to the end of yourself. There's nothing that you can do to help your survival. It's gonna happen or it's not gonna happen. It's out of your hands. Okay, so when it gets out of your hands, this is when people, they find God. Okay, I mean, you don't just lay there and say, oh, you got me, and just sort of take it nice and easy. I mean, so, when you take this to this logical conclusion of that there is no God and it's just me and I'm responsible for everything, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work practically. And I know I tried to live that way. I mean, I was never an atheist, but I for most of my life I lived as someone who figured that I didn't have any deep religion whatsoever, and I pretty much figured that I'm an animal and I need to survive. And when I worked out, that was always on my mind. I mean, that stuff's on your mind. I mean, if you're gonna live logically in that lifestyle, you gotta live thinking this stuff. And it's just, it leads to no peace. There's no peace in that philosophy. I don't care how you put it. I don't care how you break it down. There's no peace. You might say, oh, I live a peaceful life. I don't believe you. And I'm not saying that you're lying. I'm saying that you may not actually realize that you're not living with peace. If that's all you know is what you are, and you've never lived in peace, then, you don't know the difference. And so, there's a difference. And who's to stop me from killing you? Who's to stop anyone from killing you? Unless you're the baddest animal in the area at the time, someone can take you out. I mean, that's the reality here. And if you find peace in that, I don't think that's possible. And when you come to the end and there's nothing more you can do to save your own life, and you're facing death right in the face, okay? Let's say that you're being, you're in an alley, you get, how'd you get in the alley? Hey man, let's just say someone pushed you in the alley and just physically had you dominated, and you are on the ground, it's night, there's no one around, there's a gun to your head, you're out of the fight. You're dead to rights. What are you going to turn to? What are you going to turn to? Now, maybe you'll turn to a God who's non-existent, right? I mean, that's what you're probably thinking. Well, just because I say, God help me, doesn't mean he's there. I understand that. But every philosophy should be able to be consistent in its logical, in its, final conclusion, its logical conclusion. It should be able to take you down the road, that philosophy, whatever that philosophy is, should be able to take you down the road and be consistent in all circumstances for it to be a true philosophy. And atheists are not going to be atheists when their life is hanging in the balance. Okay? And that's just very well known. It's well known in the military. And, there's lots of foxhole conversions. Now, a lot of people have foxhole conversions, and then guess what? They make it through, and they're back to normal, okay? I understand that. But that's not the point. The point is that when it really counted, when your philosophy counted, when it was on the line, atheism is always rejected at that point, if you still have time to think. Obviously, if you're dead before you hit the ground and you don't even know what happened, that's different. But as you're still able to think, Okay? You are not going to maintain your atheism. It ain't happening. And that's the problem I have with atheism. Not atheists. I'm cool with atheists. They're fine. They drink beer just like I do. I'm fine with that. I can sit there and have a drink and party and have a good time with an atheist. That's cool. We can joke. We can play frisbee. We can do whatever, right? But the philosophy of atheism is shallow because it doesn't. You can't live it out to its logical conclusion when it really counts. Theoretically, yeah, you can live in your world and say, yeah, I'm an atheist, blah blah blah. But it's gonna fall short, man. It's gonna fall short. It's gonna fall short. So I would love to know what y'all think. There was a little bit of rambling on this. Daggone, it's 10 minutes. I'm trying to keep these things shorter. I'm sorry about that. If I edited this thing, I can get it down to 5 minutes pretty freaking easy, but I don't edit. I just come live, raw, and we just do this thing. So, nothing but respect for y'all. Love to hear what you have to say on this opinion of coming to the end of yourself. Can atheism actually take care of you in your lowest moments? It can't. I don't think. Take it easy, and I hope you don't have your lowest moment today. God bless you. That's right.